Tapas. Here we want to discuss the role of tapas in yoga therapy. Tapas literally means penance. Patanjali, in his Yoga Sutras, he has suggested Ashtanga Yoga, wherein the second yoga is called as Niyama. It will be dealing with the limit of the body, and wherein he has suggested 5 such type of things, namely Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. Shaucha means purification. Swadhyaya means Santosha means pleasantness. Tapas means potentializing the energy. Swadhyaya means understanding one's own contemplation. Ishvara Pranidhana is said to be submissiveness to the supremacy, and wherein Tapas, Swadhyaya and Ishvara Pranidhana are considered to be Kriya Yoga. Kriya means action. Yoga means harmony. It is a harmonious action interrelated within the parts of the body. And of these particular niyamas, only tapas is having a major role in order to understand for its application in yoga therapy. What actually this tapas means and what we are going to achieve through the tapas. Tapas literally means penance. But according to Patanjali, there is a particular definition. Kayendriya siddhir ashuddhikshayat tapasaha. By means of the tapas, one can achieve kaya siddhi and indriya shuddhi. Kaya means body. Siddhi means attainment. Attainment of the body is called as kaya siddhi. Indriya means potential. Shuddhi means purification. Purification of the potential. Here, this concept of kaya siddhi can be understood as the stability and mobility of the body. This has been told by Patanjali in the concept of what is called as sthiti. And indriya siddhi is the purification of the potential energy. It has been told through a particular word called as sthira. Sthira means placing in the fire. As an ore is placed in the fire for purification, the body and the parts of the body are subjected to purification, and they can be done through a particular process, what is called as tapas. Tapas actually means conduction. It conducts the energy into the body and outside the body. It is basically dealing with the energy cycle, and wherein the life force and the biomagnetism is also controlled through this particular conduction cycle. Here, there are 3 varieties of conduction for which the body is generally submitted to. One is thermal conduction, another is solar conduction, and another is geomagnetic conduction. If we take the thermal conduction, thermal literally means the heat and the properties of the heat. Respiratory system is the medium for thermal conduction. It works on the hematological factors and respiratory cycle and cardiovascular cycle. Hematological factors are all basically related with the blood, and respiratory cycle is related with the lungs and the pulmonary circulation of the blood, and cardiovascular cycle is working in reference to the function of the heart. In this particular identity, what we have to take into consideration, respiratory system has its impact on the purification of the blood. It is the key for some of the problems like diabetes mellitus, nephropathy, and also it has impact on the contractility of the arthros and osteomuscular mass. In such a situation, pranayama and its variants are generally taken into consideration to be more powerful in organizing and controlling the respiratory cycle, which is the medium for the thermal conduction. And of this, the Kumbhaka like Ujjayi, Shitali, Shitkari, Bhastrika, Murcha, Plavini, and Kapalabhati have been suggested. They will be contributing for the balance of the self-suppressive pressure force on the muscular mass. This affects the thermal conduction, and also it can purify the mass, Annamaya Kosha and Pranamaya Kosha, which are the sheaths of food and vital force. Thus, this particular thermal conduction is one method of tapas, which will be directly having an association with major parts of the body. The second one is considered to be solar conduction. It is the conduction of the radiational energy into the human body. The solar conduction is through the optic and acoustic media. It will influence the functioning of the brain and activation of the neurons. They decide the contractility, flexibility, mobility of the axons and dendrons. It will contribute to the fibrous material connected with the neurological network and entities and protects the psychosomatic standards. It will condition the mental well-being. It is identified by Patanjali as Prakasha, which literally means light. This particular solar conduction is considered to be very, very important for the promotion of the immunity standards and also for the increment of the longevity standards. Both immunity and longevity are decided by the degree of the radiation of the solar energy, and it can be done only through the optic medium. And another identity can be found in geomagnetic conduction. Geomagnetism has been considered to be the expanding function of the force of the earth and the power of the earth, which is created through the self-whirling motion of the earth, and it is generally conducted through the body, through the food and the water. The contents of the mineral salts and allied material in the food contributes to the digestive system. The seven dhatus like juice, blood, flesh, fat, bone, marrow, and sperm are directly influenced by the geomagnetic conduction. Its impact varies on the geometric location of the residents. All the yoga practices like asanas, mudras, and pranayama try to establish an equilibrium between the muscular mass and the frequency of the geomagnetic waves. Here, we must take into consideration one more factor which is more determining of the geomagnetic conduction. It is through the frequency of the waves of the planets which are involved in the heliocentric motion along with the terrestrial plane or the earthly plane. Because these planets are very much influencing the different dimensions of the earth, and they will be deciding the acceleration and expansion of the forces and function of the geomagnetism within the human body. This entire process has been taken into as tapas. In this tapas, the stability of the body and the mobility of the body has been very much achieved, which is called as Kaya Siddhi. In the same way, it is contributing for the purification of the potential energy, which is called as Indriya Siddhi. As a result, this tapas is having a major role in yoga therapy because it will be bridging the gap between the physical plane and the mental plane. It will be connecting the functioning of the consciousness as knowledge and action. As a result, the mobility of the sense organs, motor organs, and the functions of the mind, they are all having interconnectivity and they are subjected to a particular equilibrium of the conduction wherein the thermal, solar, and geomagnetic forces will be playing a major role.